Welcome to the We're Good podcast, where we are celebrating the everyday brilliance of people working toward a more positive world. If you're looking for the good that's taking place around you, you've come to the right place. On this episode of the We're Good podcast, the We're Good team is back in studio to share our favorite moments and yours from this past year. Join us for our take on what made us laugh, cry, and surprised even our guests. We've loved sharing the good around us, so join us for our take on the We're Good podcast. Welcome back to the We're Good podcast. I'm Leanne Necessary Brownlee, your host, and I am joined here in studio with my fellow co-founders of the We're Good podcast, Tanya LaForce and Mary Ellen Chandler. So glad that you all are back. And here we are. We are wrapping up our first season and wrapping up the year. And so we just wanted to take a little bit of a deep dive and let all of you know some of the things that made us laugh, cry, things that we learned, but also things that we were hearing from, our audience as well. So I guess the first thing is what made us cry. We might just go ahead and get into that because we found, I think, through this podcast, there were so many times that we ourselves were touched by what we were hearing. And then we found out from our audience they were touched as well. And Mary Ellen, I was with you that day at the
Right.
Community Foundation pop-up. Is that what made you, that was one of your
Yeah,
moments?
Cobra there when she told her story. She had come from Afghanistan, and when she shared her journey and what brought her here and the circumstances that brought her here, um, I the audience was just silent.
It's a little bit tough, but to share. But my back home, I came here. Let me give you guys a little bit background information. I came here on 2021 during the evacuation from Afghanistan when the Taliban took over, and that's how my journey started. Because when I was back home in Afghanistan, my mom got sick, and I was still going to school and busy with my studies. And the doctors, unfortunately, didn't know what was exactly happening with my mother. And I was thinking of like becoming a doctor who knows what he's saying or what they're doing, just to give an exact answer of like, this is what's going on. And we will try our best to, help your mother.
And then one of our first podcasts was Jill's house. And of course, I think that was the one, many of them, I was trying to hold it together. But when Kelly Speck read from the book that she wrote about taking care of her son and dropping him off that first night at Jill's house, I know a lot about Jill's house, but that was just a really emotional moment, I think, for all of us because we were all in studio that day.
Right.
There was not a dry eye in the
in
studio.
the studio.
It was really powerful. So let's listen into what Kelly had to say that day.
Yeah.
And of course, you write about it in this beautiful book, Hope and the Heartache. And you write about getting ready to take Bennett to Jill's house. Could you read an excerpt for us today?
Yeah, so this would have been, I think this would have been 2014. And I say, as I packed up Bennett's bag, gathering all his clothes, diapers, wipes, medical supplies, formula, prescription, and favorite toys, feelings of guilt, dread, and panic came over me. What are we doing? What were we thinking? How could we leave him for 2 nights with complete strangers? What if he had a seizure? What if he choked on his formula and they didn't see him choking? In my head, I knew we were not being selfish for taking Bennett to Jill's house. They had a full-time nurse caring for him, trained fellows, and a doctor on call at all times. And yet my heart wrestled with the fact that caring for Bennett was my job, and I was having a hard time handing him over. This artist makes me cry to sing it. I knew every move he made, every sound that came out of his body. I could tell the minute a sickness was settling in his lungs by the gurgle of his breathing or the number of coughs he had. So sorry. And yet this was the time and safe place to let Bennett take baby steps into the care of others. He had been attending school for 4 years. He'd been under the care of other professionals for years, and he was doing great. Any guilt or grief that I had was completely normal, and yet my marriage with Travis needed to be a priority. This was the perfect time to seize this opportunity and go celebrate my man's 37th birthday. It's so funny. We were so young.
And so the story continues when you picked him up. What was he like?
Oh my goodness. I mean,
Thank you for sharing.
sure. It's so crazy and it's so hard to put words. So Bennett is nonverbal. I probably didn't add that. So he does not have words to express, hi mom, hi dad, my stomach hurts, I'm tired. We kind of always just have to read his cues. So if he's happy, he's giggling. If he's mad, he's screaming like a banshee. And every time, I literally, every time we pick him up from Joe's house, I just explain it as he's covered in this piece. He is loved on and doted on like he's the prince of Sheba.
All of our guests, I was always so impressed with how professional they were, and how awesome they were, and that some of the tough things they do, they still found the joy, and that's why they do it, right? And so they just loved it. And so I guess I got to start with Tanya here because the first laugh was on me. Tell me about what you were laughing about.
I just found it so funny that I've known you for a long time. And whenever we go to Leanne's house, I mean, she's got like a beautiful little spread happening, and there's always water with lemon. And I learned that she does not know how to bake. And it came out when Peter was telling us about his chocolate chip cookies and baking. And Leanne says that she has something to confess. And maybe I've already given it away.
That was a good one. Let's take a listen.
You just take to the cooking. You enjoy that.
Yes,
I wish I had that. I'm not a very good cook, Peter. I'm gonna be honest with you. Especially a good baker. Takes a lot to be a good baker.
Well, it takes practice.
It does.
Peter, he gave me some real inspiration there. And do you know that from that episode, friends of mine that are listening in Georgia, she was going to bake the cookies because she was so inspired by Peter and the story.
And it's holiday time. We should bring
You're
back
right.
that recipe and just
You're
try it
right.
ourselves.
We should just
I
do
mean,
that.
you can do it.
Okay, I will try. I will try really, really hard.
And next time you have us over, you can have some cookies. And
I will make
Peter's cookies.
I'll make Peter's favorite cookies. All right. I'm sure if Peter is listening, he's going to check in, and we'll see how I do.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
that's a good Christmas challenge, right? A good holiday challenge for me. The other thing that I'm not going to learn to do very well, but I just loved it, was the story of Horton's kids, and how I just love that they talked about how over a game of checkers, this young man overcame so much. A game of checkers. And I just loved this story. And you can't help but laugh when Kill tells the story.
Oh my
That's
God.
right.
So let's listen into this story.
It's great. And you told a story a while back about a young man. If you can walk me through that story, you said it starts with a chess set, which I just love.
It started with checkers.
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 Okay,
So
all right.
my young boy Denzel would come in every day and we play checkers, and I would beat him every day. And I mean, I beat him bad. It was horrible. And no matter what, he kept coming back every day, and he just kept coming back for like weeks, months, years, and he never gave up until he finally started to beat me, and now I can't beat him. But I always tell that story because it's the perseverance that he had. And it's the perseverance that even us as adults need. So that's the thing that I've always told people, that it's not about what we're giving to the kids. I get so much back from them, because I would have given up. I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to keep it up. You beat me like this, I'm good. Like, what's another? But he kept coming. He just would never give up. And now he's learned to play chess, and I don't know how to play chess. So this is how he can talk trash to me now. Like, you can't even play me now.
Is he going to teach you?
Maybe. But I mean, I love that. And anytime that our kids, I mean, I use this with adults, when they're struggling, it's like, look at Denzel. He never gave up.
And along with some laughter, there was also some surprises. I got to tell everyone that I wasn't surprised by this because I knew. I had talked with Mama D. We were talking about college track at the Durant Center. They invited us out, and we just had an amazing day. Tanya and I were able to go, but Mary Ellen didn't get to go with us. So when we asked what were some big surprises, you said college track. Had you stop in
Absolutely.
your tracks?
I
Really?
was listening to the podcast, walking my dog really quickly on our brisk walk. And then I heard Mama D share the news. And I literally stopped in my tracks And so you'll just have to tune in to hear this news.
It's like a family. It's like a second family to me, and how they've connected. It's at this point, it's just one big family, and I can, contact anybody to, just
And I
like
gotta
advice.
tell you, I gotta say, it is a big family because can you share with people something else that you found at college track?
Something else that I did find on college track, which is truly amazing, is my fiance. That's it.
All right, say what? Okay, we gonna. All right, go ahead. Wonderful.
It started back in 9th grade. Of course,
You met her here?
I did meet her here. That
Is she part of the first cohort too?
yes, she is.
It's a college track love story.
Oh my goodness, this is one for the book.
Well, I loved her reaction, and I was so surprised that she didn't know. Right? That was really it. It's like this was live news.
It was really fun. And they were so great at the Durant Center. Everyone that has invited us out for an on location has been so welcoming.
Yeah.
But we had so much fun because here's Wanda Durant, and we were thinking we were just going to get a little bit of her time. And she was like, no, I want to sit in. I want to be a part of it. And she was just such a part of it. And so that's why, I knew that this was going to surprise her, but we didn't have time to tell her in advance. And I'm really glad we didn't.
Right. Oh,
right.
absolutely.
I have to say, the other thing that I love now that we're talking about Mama Durant, I also loved that, she sometimes forgets people's names.
Right.
And she's
Right,
like,
right.
she called
made me feel
James.
better.
It made me feel better.
Yeah.
It sure did. But James was like, yeah, I get a sunshine sometimes.
Right.
I just loved being there with them. That was a great episode.
Why is it so important for the parents and the people that are around these young people to have that trust? Tell us
Well,
about that.
because as a mom, you don't trust your children to just anyone. They have to earn that. And so we want to be that. And as I remember, I was a hovering mom. And I was very intentional about the adults that I wanted in my sons' lives. And so I want to be that adult that other parents could say, I can trust my students, my child with this family, with the James at college track and all of this there. I, that's important to me that we become the pillars in this community where we are trusted and we're valued with parents to know that their children are safe with us
That's wonderful.
and that we genuinely care about them. Like I could walk up and they'll just hug me and we'll talk about their grades. We'll talk about how they're doing in school and how is your mom doing and what's going on. And they're very open to talk to me because I'm trusted.
And
And that's a value to me.
and you know
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
You know them.
Yes.
That is such an important part of this. Is that they are seen, heard, and known.
Yes. And I must say, this is a funny part about it. Like I don't know all of their names. And I just say, hi baby, how you doing? And they like, Miss Wong, you don't remember my name? I'm like, I remember your name, but I don't really. But they know my heart is
There. I bet you got a lot of kid out of
yeah, like, so they know if I call them baby or sunshine, they like, I got her now.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. I get a sunshine every once in a while. Yeah, I did it. I get.
No, I take a sunshine. I take sunshine. I love that. I love it.
Another one of our first guests was Europe United. And both of you have strong ties to Europe United. But you said when it came to being surprised by something, Tanya, you were actually surprised by something you heard in that interview.
Having worked at Europe United, I have heard lots of stories about students and how they get to Europe, but never had I heard how Emerson made it to Europe. It is just fantastic.
How did you find Europe, or how did someone find Europe for you?
Now, this is a very important location. It was a gas station, okay? More particularly the Wawa gas station. I'm just pumping gas and I get the tap on the shoulder, and it's a former high school teacher I had. And he's just asking me, what am I doing? Now, my plans at the time, no college, gonna be an electrician. That was the road. That was the plan. I had paperwork ready to go. And he's like, what, don't you like computers? Yeah, I do. Here, take this pamphlet. And it was a pamphlet for Europe. Now, to be honest, I ignored it and put it down on the table. And my mother, who was very big on me going to college, was like, read it and was like, I like this. I like this for you. I've signed you up for the application. And so I was voluntold.
I mean, honestly, anything can happen. That you get a tap on the shoulder at a gas station, and this changes your whole trajectory in life. And I just love Emerson, what he's been able to do. But I think Axel, do you remember Axel?
Yes.
From Talent for Tomorrow, he too
Yeah.
had a great backstory.
Well, and I just loved learning more about the workforce development programs. And of course, Talent for Tomorrow was just so eye-opening in how that they brought together the different nonprofits and said, hey, let's work together. And Capital One explained how they were helping fund all of this and grow all of this. And then Axel just brought it all home by basically saying it was much more for him than just workforce development. Really, it was family.
I do have to ask you, Axel, if there is one thing that you could tell our listeners who are listening right now, one thing I know might be hard about what you got out of this whole experience, the impact that it's had on your life, what would it be?
One thing, I would say, in a way, family.
Love it.
Whenever I need help, I can just go to them, and because there's an alliance, they all are experts in their own way, but they're all working together. And I know for a fact that if I ever need something, I can go to one of them.
And of course, when you hear Axel and he's talking about this organization becomes family, really, we saw a tide that really kind of went through our podcast many times was that organizations do become like family. And Mary Ellen, you said one of the ones that really touched you was Boys and Girls Clubs of
That's right.
Washington.
That's right. I mean, hearing Nola and Vera share their stories about their involvement in the Boys and Girls Club, you know, the activities, the community, and they both really talked about it as a family, extension of their family.
And then,
Yeah.
of course, Dr. Minnie talked about how it touched her family.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think
Quite
that
literally.
Literally,
That's
literally,
quite
right,
literally.
right.
Let's hear that.
I have a 14-year-old daughter. God bless everyone with teenagers. It's an interesting age. It's not as fun as when they're, trying all the new foods and putting everything in their mouth, but you learn a lot. But the moment that I will say that really changed and made the clubs much more personal for me was when she was 6. So my daughter has special needs. She has cerebral palsy, and she went to our Clubhouse 6. And it was the first time that I could see that regardless of her ability, regardless of her ability to talk, her ability to run as fast as the other kids, they all made her feel special. That was the time that I knew that she was in a place where she belonged. And if it did it for my daughter, I know it's done it for hundreds and thousands of other kids. And so that's a really personal moment and a personal testament to the impacts of the clubs. She still talks about her kids and her club, and they have to get on the bus and go on the trip. And when I go to the club, they're like, "Where's Hasana?" That's my daughter's name. They're like, "Where's Hasana?" "You're Hasana's mom." That's all. I'm only Hasana's mom. And I love that, right?
It's great.
Because that's right. But because that's her place. And so when I think about why I do this work, I want every parent to be able to have that moment. I want every parent to know and every caregiver to know that their young people, when they walk through our blue doors, that their young people belong there, they're safe there. They're not only going to survive, but they're going to thrive. And that's what makes it really personal for me.
So we appreciate Dr. Minnie and all of these people sharing, their personal insights into what, these organizations mean to them. I think another one that really talked a lot about how these kids become family, and it's really evident, was DC Scores. So Mary Ellen, your reaction to DC Scores was just awesome.
I just loved it. I mean, talk about sort of a surprise also. How soccer and poetry can bring together students and the staff and the volunteers as a family. So take a listen.
So what makes DC Score special is, unlike other programs, we actually form bonds and we become a family. Like, even when there's not practice, we contact each other on the phone. We go out to eat sometimes. It's really nice, and we check up on each other. So DC Scores it's not even like an organization anymore, it's like a family. And so we all check up on each other. I know one of our team members, they had a baby. And so we were all checking up on her. And it was really nice to just be there together. And especially like even if we're going through hard stuff and people get sick and stuff, we're all still together. And so it kind of just makes us a whole big family.
And when you're talking families, of course, Fairfax Casa was definitely one that talks a lot about. It's all about family.
It's all about
It's
family.
all about families. Really touched me in the sense that I just learned so much about what they do and was so impressed. And I actually had a lot of people asking me questions after that. Like, so you don't have to have a law degree, you know? And you said that you learned a lot just about how it got started.
So I have a very good friend. I have actually two very good friends that are CASAs. And what I didn't realize, and they're volunteers, what I didn't realize was the origin story of the CASA. The judge said, I need someone to represent these children. And, and then it goes from there. To me, that was an incredible learning.
CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate. And the CASA program started in 1977. Judge David Sukup out in Seattle, Washington. He felt like when he had cases come in, everybody had representation. Everybody had someone speaking for them. And we are in a system where if someone can't speak for them, we appoint someone to speak for them, right? Guardian ad litem. And here are these vulnerable children before him with no one speaking for them. And he felt like he just didn't have the right information to make really difficult decisions. In that, if he removed a child who was not being abused out of an abundance of caution, he just took a child from the only home they've ever known. And if he allowed a child to remain in their home or sent a child back to a home where they were being abused, he's putting them back into a very dangerous situation. And so he really struggled with it, and he came up with an idea of maybe I can get a few volunteers who I can train and just tell them what I need to make better decisions. He told his bailiff, here's 6 or 7 people that, reach out to them. And the first day he went down to the cafeteria to meet with them, he opened the door and there were about 50 people from the community in Seattle waiting. And so that was the beginning of it, right? And now there's over 900 CASA programs across the United States. Here in Virginia, we have 27.
And something that we were very dedicated to was that we wanted to celebrate our military, our veterans, the spouses, and boy, did we. We had a great July. We had Dog Tag Bakery. That was our first on location,
Yes.
and that was so much fun. We learned a lot about going on location. It was great. It smelled really good. We kept saying we wish we had smell-o-vision. We had Operation Renewed Hope, which we talked about a little bit in our last episode. And we also had Blue Star Families. And I think all of these, we just learned so much about what they're doing, not just for the military, but also for the spouses and the caregivers of the military. What was something that impacted you all in the military organizations we did?
I feel like I think just the importance of keeping families together and how important it is to support the spouses and the families while the service person is on duty. Yeah, it's it was a good reminder, and I was really happy to know what these organizations do.
Very much the same, just that it's holistic. It's not just supporting the veterans, but the caregivers and the spouses and the magnitude of the programs that especially Blue Star Families offers. It's they've really thought of how to care for the whole family.
They have, and I am a military sister. I am a sibling, and I was just really impressed with all that Blue Star Families are doing, and bringing people in. That we met someone and she was shy, and she was able to connect. Let's listen a little bit into that story.
It's easy to feel isolated in this area with so many families living off base. So yeah, I hosted an event last week, and one of the women who attended said that she mostly gets out when she's coming to my events. Like she's nervous about going out and driving in the area and going places where she's not going to know anyone. And that made me feel amazing that like we're giving people the opportunity and the comfort to be able to get out and really get to know the area that's their home. I'm an introvert naturally, and not all, the perfect military spouse would be an extrovert who's great at getting out and meeting people immediately everywhere they go, but that's not me. And it takes all types, right, in the military world. So for me, that's been the most helpful. But I think, our initiatives with the Nurse the Service and our outdoors programs to get people out and exploring their new communities are helpful for lots of different families.
And I always say time is short on these episodes, but it is, and it's been fun to look back, but we can't close out without our last two guests, which was Insight Memory Care and also Dr. Christina Prather. I was just so excited about actually talking about this topic, which we have all three said impacts every single one of us, is either has had someone who has had Alzheimer's or dementia, or we know someone who's caring for someone, and especially right now. So Tanya and I really opened up in the Insight Memory Care, but Dr. Christina Prather, she had some great tips, and I thought she like kind of flipped the script a little bit for us.
She did. I mean, one of my takeaways was I did not know what motion is the lotion. Motion is the lotion. I didn't know what that meant. And it makes so much sense.
As you told me, we're all aging.
We're all aging, right? The alternative to aging is not aging, right? So let's all age. And so the first one I would say is motion is lotion, right? So we've got to start moving. The moment we stop moving, we start dying. We have to move our bodies. It's so important. And then the second thing I would say is that as a community, as a people, we are all biased against aging, right? If you look around our entire culture, all of the products, all the clothes, how do we stay young? How do we remain young? We have to be aware that we are biased against our future selves and the fact that we're working really hard to not be our future selves. And so just to keep that in mind, to bring a little more grace and a little more love, and to think about that aging process as something natural and something we should, in a way, almost challenge ourselves to look forward to.
I learned a lot from that episode.
It was a great episode.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the resources that she shared with the books, I've already read one of the books. It's Nutrition for the Brain. It's one of those. And that's going to be my New Year's resolution. Eating not heart healthy, but brain healthy food, which, by the way, is also heart healthy food. But motion is lotion. So moving more,
Right.
and definitely eating better.
And sleeping more.
Right.
All of those. So we're going to wrap up by saying that you definitely need to listen. I mean, this is a perfect time of year to go back, put it in the headphones, do whatever, or in the car, wherever you are listening, and listen to the episodes. And Dr. Prather was our very last episode of the season. So it would be a great one for some New Year's resolutions to get you going for 2026. And we're excited about 2026.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, there's so many that's coming up. So much that's coming up.
So tune in for next time, because we're going to do a little preview in our last official episode for the year. So excited for that one too.
So excited. We're looking forward to a whole new year. And we just want to thank you for listening to our take. We, of course, want to hear your take. Be sure and contact us through our website, we'regood.net. Also, we want to remind you that we are on Facebook and we are on Instagram and LinkedIn. Please be sure to like us, follow us, and share with others, because we want to share the good news.
And YouTube.
We are on YouTube, and we definitely want you to take a look at that, because, of course, that is where you can see us doing this live. And who knows? You might be able to do some outtakes every once in a while.
Get the real behind the scenes.
Get the real behind the scenes. So thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to join us again. We look forward to seeing you in the new year. We want to wish all of you a very happy holiday season.